Three and Out. Marco Barron, Eric Waldman. I forgot what episode we're on. I think we left off on 9A.
9A,
Due
9B.
to some technical difficulties.
We're into the double digits. We've made it.
Yeah.
We've made it this far.
And we're heading into which week of the NFL?
I think this is week 10, right?
Week 10, right. We are caught up on our episodes, week-to-week matchup.
What do we have on tap?
I want to address for 30 seconds.
Go ahead, do your thing.
So, there's obviously a weird sentiment in the room and in the country and on your computer screens. Presidential election was last night, and I think much to the surprise of the media and, I would say probably our circle.
True underdog.
Right. This was the 3-1 comeback that the Cubs pulled off, that the Cavs pulled off. Regardless of how you feel with the outcome, if you look at it from a sports standpoint, and this is probably just a stupid point, but if you look at it from a sports standpoint, it's everything that you wanted.
It's everything you want.
The experts being proven wrong.
Team out of nowhere.
Right.
Despite the critics.
Right. That's right. You and I have had some great discussions about it. We're not a politics show, but I understand the sentiment that some folks feel on the president-elect, and for that, I show my support with, with the Canadian hat and what have you, and I will really leave it at that. But besides that going on, you got the Knicks having won tonight. That second string actually played a little bit of defense.
Did they win?
Yeah, they crushed the Brooklyn
Nets. So now
Nets.
the Knicks are 3-4?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, they still suck.
Yeah.
What are you
see.
gonna do?
Yeah. So you got that song queued up. My God.
So what do you want to do today? We're gonna run through the games, give you a little more in-depth analysis on all that.
Yeah, and when we get about halfway through, I'll go through my mid-season or my rest of season.
Your second half MVPs.
My second half MVPs.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to see what you got.
I think you're gonna
because I blew it out of the water. Besides jinxing Derrick Henry to his grave,
right.
I think I'm hot with my MVP picks.
Yeah, you'll remind us who that was in case the viewers forgot. Viewership was down a little bit last week.
I'll remind you when we get into it.
Due to the timing, so hopefully we get you the guys early enough in the week you don't have to watch this on a Saturday, but rather you can kill a nice Thursday at work with us. We look forward to it. So let's just head right into the games, and we're going to cover the big hitters, the players, some of the rumblings that have been going on in the NFL.
Okay. All right.
What's this first game?
First game is tomorrow night. We have the Cleveland Browns, the only completely defeated team left on the year.
Right.
Traveling to rival Baltimore. They are 10-point dogs. Cleveland, that is. Baltimore with an implied total of 27 points. Browns projected to score only 17. Vegas thinks it'll be a blowout. I'm curious what you think.
Well, what I'd like to do is, since I've fallen in with the, what do we call it? We'll call it the hurry-up offense section of the show, where we run down those spreads. Let's keep it to some player highlights.
Okay, fine.
And then we will run through.
All right, so who are you starting in this game?
Well,
I don't think it's a very interesting game.
No, this
fantasy-wise.
Yeah, fantasy-wise, this sucks.
It's kind of poop.
For your eyes and your viewership purposes, it's probably going to suck. I mean, this is one of the worst divisional matchups you can see.
Yeah.
I don't like Joseph Flacco in this game. Terrence West has completely fallen off the wagon for me.
Yeah.
And really, I think the only one you can trust is maybe Mike Wallace to pop off another long one.
Ooh, I'll disagree slightly. I think the Browns are the heal-all to any fantasy contributor.
But on a Thursday night, sir?
Absolutely. Browns are the away team. Ravens at home. I think Terrence West is viable here. And this could be the game. I have a funny feeling Kenneth Dixon has a chance to supplant West as the
so
starter.
So then why do you
in this
like
game.
West?
Because I think we saw last week when the Cowboys played the Browns.
Right.
Alfred Morris got double-digit carries.
True.
This could be very similar with the Ravens, who aren't even that great of a team. As a 10-point favorite, I think there's going to be plenty of time to run the ball at the end of the game. I see both running backs being viable this week. And Harbaugh has said it seemingly week after week after week that he wants to get Dixon more involved. We saw it last week. He was more involved in the offense. He's a 3-down back. West, rather, has been falling off the arrow pointing down.
Right.
I think this might be the week we see a change of guard in the Baltimore backfield.
I like that. I don't have any Kenneth Dixon share. It's probably me being more of a slow mover than, if anything. I've really never liked the Ravens as just a franchise. Their jerseys are gross to me.
Yeah.
The formation, the numbers, horrible. Steve Smith.
We'll see their color rush
about
jerseys.
Fantasy.
They have. I saw them. They're all purple.
Okay.
Purple being my favorite color.
Well, it's a good purple if they used it correctly.
It's nice. It's all purple, still with the black helmet.
Okay.
It's gonna look good. I think you'll like it.
For me, this spells that this is the classic ugly Thursday night game. I think you're gonna get a lot of underwhelming fantasy.
You think it'll be low scoring?
I don't know if it'll be low scoring.
Browns side, are you playing anybody? I think you could still feel good about Terrell Pryor, no?
Yes, I'm starting my Cleveland wide receivers. I am not starting Gary Barnidge. He's officially droppable to me.
Okay.
He had a little span, obviously, where he was useful.
Yeah.
8-9 point range.
His
still without a touchdown.
His floor and ceiling seem to be like 7 to 9 points.
It's well in the last 2 weeks, but he's
like
really been struggling last couple weeks. A couple games with less than 40 yards. So bust for me. And I like Corey Coleman to grab some more yards.
You like Coleman? You're with Coleman?
Yeah, I thought he had a nice little game ski. I have to miss out. He had 7 targets last week, 4 catches, 61 yards. Like that's.
I could jive with him as
nice
a flex play. I think Pryor is kind of locked in now as a.
Agree. He's a big dude.
2. I would say 2, like a mid-low end 2.
That's yep.
With upside
because
because sometimes he can generate the targets that
other
guys won't. But not really too much to get excited about this game. But again, I'm looking for Dixon to take over the backfield.
Okay, so that's the takeaway for this game. Okay, so we'll move on. Again, we'll call that game at the end in terms of what we think is going to happen. So I want to keep you on the edge of your seats in that regard. Next game, Kansas City, Carolina. Is your battery running out?
Yeah, I'm going to get my charger.
Oh, you got to be kidding. We're in the middle of a live show. The kid has to get his GD charger.
Plug it in behind you.
Man, we are really on the precipice of low tech right now. Okay. Let's see. We got this.
If I have to scoot closer to you.
No. I don't know about that.
We're in?
No. Let me see.
Plug me in.
Come on.
Alright, so the next game on tap, we're going to go to Kansas City at Carolina. Carolina 3-point favorites.
Oh my God. It's bending.
There you go.
Forcing.
Now you're in. That's what she said.
Oh boy.
So Carolina 3-point favorites. Chiefs didn't look so great last week.
Yeah.
Char West was big time bust.
Yeah, well, I think you. Let's say me. I'll give you most of the credit. You made a beautiful call with the Jacksonville on the backdoor cover.
Yep.
Playing the Chiefs tight, right? Chiefs, mind you, I want to just throw this out there. The Chiefs are still ranked as a top 5 team according to the NFL's power rankings.
Interesting.
Which I find interesting because to me,
I don't know if I'm buying that.
I don't know if I'm buying it. And the reason, so obviously you get Spencer Ware back this week, which is fantastic, but you don't have Alex Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Maclin is droppable for me at this point of the year.
Yeah.
And, except for when Foles is playing, Travis Kelce isn't really doing much. So, I don't know. Is it the defense that's keeping them top 5?
Mediocre, like, across the board, nothing really stands out for me.
I agree. And I'm sure I could name a bunch of teams that I'd rather be taking above the Chiefs.
All right, so fantasy-wise, let's get into it.
Did we make fun of Jamal Charles owners yet? Did we troll them on that one?
No, I don't think we did. But do they deserve it? I feel like they've suffered quite enough holding on to him throughout the year. But if you want to hit him with something, be my guest. So who do we have here? Who do you like on the Carolina side of the ball?
Oh, well, I think if your boy, and he started off high, I think you gave him the blessing from the divine blessing, if you will, but Jonathan Stewart.
J-Stick.
I have been trying to get my hands all over this guy.
Yeah.
In a number of leagues, and it's just not working.
Can't get him.
I cannot get him.
Can't get him.
But boy,
high volume.
Another
every
nice
week.
matchup. Oh,
every
man.
week. Last week though he did disappoint. I don't.
Didn't he have the punch-ins?
I don't think he had a punch.
He got into the end zone.
Did he?
Yeah. Yeah. Please look that up.
I'll bring it up for you. But this year, this has brought me to Jonathan Stewart, the linebacker.
Oh my
I don't.
That's
but this week,
anymore.
apparently, Chiefs have only allowed 3 rushing scores to running backs on the year, but they've yielded some yardage against them. I'll bring up Stewart's
Bring him up.
game log here. So
Ooh.
no, he didn't. He was held out of the end zone last week.
What?
But he still had 15 carries for 42 yards in L.A. Carolina had a hard time generating much offense there. But I'm going right back to the well with him this week.
Do I have to erase everything I just said for the last 2 minutes? I feel like you're right, I didn't notice that game. I try to tune myself out from Rams games.
No, we'll be okay. We're going to move on. We're going to keep pushing through. Stewart still in play this week. I'm still holding on tight with him as my second half running back MVP. The schedule from here on out is fantastic. I think the Rams might have been the toughest team he's got left here.
Okay.
He's still a high volume guy. I know he's not that involved in the passing game, but the Panthers have shown that they're not as willing to let Cam run the ball around the goal line.
I think that's the tried and true
That's the
point
key,
right there.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the goal line work that he was forever stripped of.
Yeah.
For these last 7 years or whatever the thing is. So that's really the turning point for me because he's always been a good runner.
Yeah.
But unless he's getting in the end zone, he's not making.
He wasn't the first look in the red zone at the goal line inside the 5.
It really is so.
But speaking of which, Cam Newton, kind of a bust this year, right?
For sure. I think you can absolutely say that. I think the
What
Panthers
are we feeling about him the rest of the way? Are you worried as an owner? I mean, if I own him, I'd be pretty worried. I think I don't know if I feel comfortable. I guess him leading me into the second half here and then into the playoffs.
I would agree. Because back to the goal line point is number 1 for me. But number 2, and maybe I need to watch a full game. But what the heck happened to Calvin Benjamin? What is he doing?
He's been pretty inconsistent. You know, I'm not sure.
I felt like he hasn't done anything for the last 5 weeks, it seems, at least for the last month.
Panthers have had just 1 touchdown pass to a wide receiver since week 5.
Wow.
Very interesting. Tied with the Texans and Dolphins for fewest in the league.
Jesus.
That is very worrisome. Greg Olsen continues to get a lot of work, but
elite.
This week, Chiefs very, very staunch against the tight end position.
Right.
So I would suspect a lower scoring game, maybe some field goals here. Chiefs want to run the ball. Panthers want to run the ball. Not expecting guns blazing, a lot of fantasy studs coming out of this matchup here.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I'm concerned about the long-term value now about a lot of these guys. But I'm with you.
Let me just ask you, Macklin, droppable.
Yes. Yeah, no, definitely.
Most leagues, droppable, I would say.
Droppable for me. If you're
Health is a concern, and even beyond that, production has been terrible.
Right. What about his year has been encouraging? He hasn't scored since week 1.
Nothing. Spencer Ware, Charkandrick West. Do we feel confident this week in either of them?
Ware, yes, because Ware is a top 10 back for me rest of the way regardless.
Yeah.
Panthers have been horrible against the run, I think.
No, they've been horrible against the pass. Let me correct you.
Well, that hurts.
They've been strong against the run.
What about when Devontae Freeman ran Hulkamania wild on him?
Oh, well, that might have been like one good game they gave up. But I'm looking at stats here that say Carolina has allowed the third fewest rushing yards to backs and second lowest yards per carry at 3.38 yards.
Wow.
Very strong against the run.
Okay. I'm not concerned.
Through the air, they've gotten lit up. You're not concerned.
Because I think he's a stud.
Okay. I can jive with that. So let's move on. From there, our picks, we like Jonathan Stewart. We like not much else.
No, this is another kind of two ugly teams, which I'm getting a little fed up of, quite frankly.
All right, so I have Denver at New Orleans next. Kind of the battle of the opposites here.
Right.
New Orleans is a high-flying offense. Broncos with the terrific defense.
Right.
Trying to limit the passing game of the Saints. What's going to play out here? What do you think?
Keys to the game for me is going to be whether or not Aqib Talib plays.
Okay.
Do you know if he's due back or is he still having these?
I don't know his status, but I feel like I read he's facing a multi-week absence.
Okay.
Here.
Let's assume for the sake of argument that he's out.
All right.
The problem is that you saw what they did. I mean, Raiders completely dominated
the line of scrimmage. Right.
But, to be fair, the Raiders still had a lot of trouble converting on third downs and popping in those touchdowns. Had to, I think, kick 3 field goals.
Yeah.
And it's because the Broncos' pass defense and pass rush is still elite.
Right.
And they can cause you problems at the line of scrimmage as well. However, your boy, Rookie of the Year, who's on a absurd pace for a rookie, is a must start for me, regardless of the matchup. I think he's matchup proof at this point.
Who are we talking?
The Michael Thomas.
Mike T.
I like your Mike T. And I think the nice other bit of news on the Saints side is one of these guys. You tell me. Hightower or Ingram?
It's a tough call.
You could do some damage against the Broncos on
because
the ground.
we didn't. Yes, we know that the Broncos, the way to attack them is on the ground. We saw it last week.
Right.
And again, I think this game will come down to who controls the line of scrimmage, who can run the ball better.
Right. Right.
But the problem with last week when they played San Fran, they're so bad against the run that we didn't get any clarity to the situation in the New Orleans backfield.
No, we did not.
They split pretty much. Hightower had a few more carries, but Ingram had himself a nice game too. He had, I think, a 75-yard touchdown run.
2 touchdowns. He averaged like 13 yards a run as opposed
Both
to Hightower's 5.
Very good. Like but if I had to guess, I would say this remains a split in the backfield, which this week doesn't look so great. I would say they're both Hightower and Ingram in that mid to back end RB2 range.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm too confident starting either of them.
No.
But if they're on my roster, I'm probably playing them.
You have to play them, likely at this point of the year, just given all the injuries that everyone has had to overcome.
The injuries,
right?
the running back position as a whole. Sure.
It's been awful. So you're definitely playing them. I would like to think that Ingram got back some of his respect, his leash, yada yada, after such a dominant performance, whereas Hightower's really was more based on volume, more of a pedestrian effort for me. So I like Ingram there. Again, Broncos really bad against the run. I mean, like almost dead last.
Yeah, they have struggled.
So we need to get out of the mode that we can't play running backs against.
They're allowing 158 yards from scrimmage to opposing running backs, which goes for third most in the league.
Right.
On the other side of the coin, the Saints have been terrible against the pass all year. Denver has thrown the ball more on the road. I feel pretty good about Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas in this game. It's interesting to think about Drew Brees here because he's been unstoppable at home, but in comes maybe the best secondary in the league.
I was just
maybe the best front four in the league, the best pass rush.
Yeah.
What do we think is going to happen?
Well,
it could be a volatile game.
I am glad you brought that up. And basically the question for me is how much lower do you drop Breeze in your rankings this week? Is he still a QB1? I mean, almost half.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not. I don't think you're picking up somebody to play over Breeze this week.
And I'm sorry, are they in the dome?
Yes, they're home. That's why it's helps. So interesting.
So let's call for me 250 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I could see that. I could even see him going over 300 still.
Okay. A
couple scores, maybe even 3. It's Drew Brees in the dome.
It is Drew Brees, yeah. He's absurd.
You know, receivers on the Saints side.
Mike Thomas, that's it.
Mike Thomas, that's it. He's looking to if Talib plays though.
Right.
Thomas plays on the outside almost exclusively.
Right.
Snead and Cook see more of the slot snaps here.
Right.
Which would be the spot you want to be. I mean, Chris Harris plays slot. The best matchup is Roby in that secondary.
Right.
So whoever's seeing him has the best matchup, but it's going to be tough to kind of predict here. But I mean, Thomas has been the consistent guy. He's seen the targets to support that, and road, home, he's been the safest guy, I think, all year out of those Saints receivers.
Yeah, I agree. And if I'm predicting that Breeze is throwing 2 touchdowns, I have no idea who the other one's going to go to. I'd like to think Cook stays out of the end zone.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that Thomas cashes in for yet another one.
How about Devontae Booker in this spot after struggling last week and talk of Bibbs coming in and taking some snaps?
As a guy facing Booker this week, I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned because yes, I agree that Bibbs will be a factor this week. I don't know if he'll get first crack.
Yeah.
But Jesus, Eric, I mean, it takes one carry to be a game breaker on that day.
I think this is a good buy low spot for Booker, to be honest.
For rest
Even
of the
though
season?
He's struggled past 2 weeks as a starter, I think it's a good buy low spot for him because this is a game where he can go out and just blow it up and solidify himself at the top of that depth chart.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that sentiment because I am scared of facing him this week.
Yeah.
Though I think Bibbs could have a useful game in a game where he gets like 10 touches, maybe 7 carries, 3 catches, something like that.
All right, so we're expecting some fireworks out of this
game? And I think this is probably a good spot for Thomas and Sanders to get back on track. I think they had some meetings this week, I'm sure, about their frustration.
All right. So let's move to New York. My Jets. My miserable, poor Jets. They are home this week facing L.A., the Rams, who refuse to go to Jared Goff. They're sticking with Case Keenum. All I got on this game is start the defenses and pray for everybody else because both these offenses are pretty horrible. I think there's a potential for a defensive touchdown on both sides.
Right.
Here. Fitzpatrick, I think, still leads the league in interceptions.
Yep.
Case Keenum has thrown his fair share. I don't think either running game is anything to fear, and the passing game is another. The offenses
are... You think Forte stays out of the end zone? Because he's made a resurgence, folks. I think we were both pretty sour on him.
Yeah.
But holy smokes, he's like the 5th best back in the league.
I mean, based on volume, he's produced. But the Jets just lost Ryan Clady for the year, their left tackle.
Good point.
I'm not sure of the status on Mangold, but he was hurt last week. Jets line is pretty banged up. And with the inability to move the ball through the air, I'm just not high on the Jets' offense, period. Even though the Rams' D, I think, is a little overrated, I think this...
Here, let me pause you for a second. Because aside from that, this is a game I wouldn't want to watch in real life. This is a game I don't want to watch on television.
We almost went to this game, too.
Yeah, thank goodness. Thank effing goodness.
Yeah.
What I want is for you to now give me what's your latest take on the Jets? Pause away from the fantasy analysis.
Yeah.
Are you as frustrated?
It's really bad.
As the sentiment out there?
It's really bad. There was news this week. Mo Wilkerson skipped meetings. He skipped a defensive meeting on his birthday in which they had a cake for him.
His own birthday party. He couldn't even show up for.
Couldn't even show up for the birthday party, the birthday meeting.
It's unbelievable with this guy.
I think I touched on this a few weeks ago. The fear of Todd Bowles losing the team is becoming realer and realer. What was that? Play that again?
Is he losing the team?
Is he? What? I think he definitely might be. Marshall, we saw last week, visibly upset on the field, and he was a strong leader for us last year. So if we're losing him,
right,
where do the rest of the players stand? It's
an awful situation. I feel for Brandon because from where he came as a youth in this league to the issues that he dealt with his bipolar disorder to where he is now. All he does is just talk this team up, stand behind his quarterback, stand behind his team.
For him. It's getting really hard for him.
It's getting unbearable.
I mean, the guy I think he's got 86 targets on the year, but only 40 receptions. And he's made some magnificent catches in recent weeks, too.
From a fantasy perspective, if you can unload him at this point, my God.
I'm pretty low on him. He's got his bye next week. The schedule is not great.
Right.
The team is looking great. We could be looking at Petty starting.
Right.
After the bye, it's not looking. The arrow is definitely not pointing up.
It's frustrating, Eric, and I think you got to clean house. I think you've just gotten so poisonous so quickly.
Yeah.
That they should have taken whatever they could have gotten for Sheldon. They wanted a first rounder.
First round pick.
They didn't get a first rounder. If you had gotten a second rounder, Eric, and you didn't take it, you're a moron.
I don't know.
Now, who do you place some more of this blame on? Do you put it on is it Bowles for you or is it McCagney? He hasn't said a GD word. And as our good friend Chris Middlestat said, well, that's not really the role of the GM and this and that. I think at this point, when things are this bad and there's this much mistrust and distaste in the fan base.
I hit on this earlier on one of the earlier episodes. It's a top heavy roster with not a lot of depth. We've seen that because they've been hit by some injuries.
Right.
Decker. I mean, the offense, besides a couple injuries here and there on the line, has stayed pretty healthy. I mean, Forte's been healthy. Powell's been healthy. Fitzpatrick got knocked out of the game, whatever.
Right.
But Decker has been the only major injury on offense, and it's gone in the tank.
But you're not, I mean, I don't even care about the injuries so much. Are you not frustrated with the culture? That's not happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where guys waltz in whenever they want.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a combination of both, definitely. The top-heavy roster that McCagnon put together.
Right.
Okay. You lose one player on offense, that's no excuse for the whole unit to tank.
Agreed.
Okay. This was a great unit last year. Not a lot of turnover coming into the year. If anything, they improved by upgrading from Ivory to Forte.
Right.
I would agree. You would agree that's an improvement.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And it has been clearly.
And it has been the emergence of a new Moore.
Right.
We still have no tight end, but that's no different than last year. The line is the same as last year.
Yep.
So it really is just the difference of Decker on offense, and then the defense. I mean, we've seen Revis continue his decline, but then everybody else around is just
he's
almost shown a disinterest.
Yeah, and it's including him. I mean, he does not finish plays anymore. He's not interested in tackling anyone anymore.
And this powerful defensive line, this great offensive defensive front that we supposedly had, hasn't shown up for weeks since, I would say, week 1 against Cincinnati when they looked great. But other than that,
it's a roster full of douches, and it's a roster that needs to go for me.
Yeah. So let's bring it back fantasy wise. I want to hit on some key guys. Brandon Marshall, we're not feeling great about. Pretty much a boom or bust 2, maybe.
Sure.
I mean, the targets keep him afloat, but you're kind of praying for a touchdown.
Praying for a touchdown, yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, Forte, you're locked in. You're playing. Bilal Powell, I don't feel safe with here. On the Rams side, Gurley has been quietly kind of terrible the entire season.
Right.
He's a low end 2 for me.
Yeah,
mid
for sure.
Low end 2.
Yeah, and we've tried to make some noise about it, so hopefully it's not too quiet at this point. But yeah, I mean,
he's bad, and he's not even getting great volume anymore.
No,
either.
it's like the 13 carries a game instead of the 20.
Get lost for Gurley for me.
It's ridiculous. Jeff Fisher keeps, we gotta feed him, blah blah blah.
I don't feel great about starting any offensive players in this game again, but the defenses, I think both defenses could be top 5 plays this week.
That's fine. Yes, I agree.
Cool with that? Agree. Cool with that.
You know there's an issue when Case Keenum is 6th in the league in passing yards per game, and then you see that relationship with the fact that Todd Gurley's
really?
not averaging anywhere near that.
Yikes.
So
let's get off this game.
Yeah, it's another gross game. I'm feeling very this week so far with these games.
Yeah. All right. So
there are not a lot of good teams in the NFL anymore.
Oh, I guess not.
The Packers stink. The Cowboys haven't played anyone good.
Cowboys are good.
The Vikings stink.
Patriots.
Eagles stink now.
Eagles stink.
The NFC sucks. And after the Patriots as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 team, you got the Raiders, and that's it.
Who do we have in the NFC? I think
the Falcons and the Cowboys.
Cowboys. I think the Cardinals come on strong second half of the year.
And here's my hot take.
Uh-huh.
Brr, 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 brr. If I had that up. My hot take is that the Giants are prime. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. And here's...
You like the Giants over the Redskins?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes, and that first of all, great counter, because the Redskins are someone for me that's heating up, and that offense is really starting to click.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing, right, for the next segment. But for me, the Giants' defense is coming along hard now. Do they have a pass rush? No. Is their leading sacker a DB? Yes. But Landon Collins, 2 weeks in a row now, he's player of the week.
He's a good
player.
He's
making plays back there. Odell, that wheel gets greased. Shepard gets back in the mix. Cruz catches a long time. And Eli's a second half guy, Eric. And if you tell me right now that the Cowboys and the Giants are playing tonight, I'm taking the Giants. Without a doubt.
I don't know how you can say that.
I'm taking the Giants.
Until the Giants show me that they can run the ball.
I don't care.
Any kind of consistency. I can't back them. And then the offense is totally predicated on Odell Beckham having a big game.
No.
The offense is shit if Odell doesn't pop a big one.
No.
It's terrible.
No. This is a team that can beat the Cowboys right now, and
they cannot.
You want to blow smoke up the Falcons' asses? Or Tushies or what have you?
Falcons are a good team.
Falcons are good team. They let up 33 points to the Packers. The Packers stink.
Packers don't stink.
They're a bad team.
No. Yeah, but who won the game? The Falcons won the game.
I mean, Jesus, talking about backdoor covering the Colts last week. They got their asses whooped.
Trap game.
Pathetic.
Trap game for them.
So I think the Giants are the best team in the NFC right now.
Oh, God.
And you will see them in the Super Bowl against...
Put that on the board. Somebody write that down, please. God.
That's my hot take for the season.
Oy.
Anyway, get back into it.
Who you got next? Green Bay?
Green Bay
at Tennessee.
Stinks against Tennessee.
So Green Bay, we're going to get James Starks back this week.
Yeah, you are.
What's his outlook? How does that affect Ty Montgomery?
Right.
How does that... What's happening?
For me, and I'm glad you mentioned Ty.
Yeah.
Ty Montgomery's window for selling is dwindling quickly.
Okay.
As long as James Starks is getting on the carries, and even if it's 10 a game, it severely limits what Ty can do.
Yeah.
Because the 3 receivers ahead of him are playing so well now.
Right.
Adams is a must-start, basically. We ranked them last week, but the reality is they're all useful. And they showed that again last week. I know Cobb was out. Even in a game when he wasn't even supposed to play, he catches a touchdown.
If Montgomery loses his backfield touches,
Right.
he's borderline useless. Even though he has been getting a lot of carries out of the backfield, maybe 8. That's 8, 9 is that spot. He needs to maintain that.
Right.
Which I think is possible. I don't think Starks is a 20 carry guy.
No, he's not.
Maybe,
and in fact, my prediction for Starks line this week is
12
13.
To 15.
I'm thinking 13 carries for 37 yards.
Yeah.
I hate the way he runs. I hate the way he looks. I don't like his name.
It seems like every year around this time, James Starks is kind of thrust into this role.
And someone has to bid too much money on him.
And he just kind of always disappoints, no?
That's well said. And I don't want anything to do with him this year. You saw what Niall Davis did. Nice $39 spent there.
Yeah.
Pat me, that was horrible.
Garbage.
Can't repeat too much, obviously. What is he, first? He's in second. No, he's in third now. He overtook his...
Yes, I'm in second.
Well done. Yeah, you spanked me last week, so I'm
reeling
reeling in that.
Got you good.
Titans side of the ball.
Titans side of the ball, we're still playing DeMarco Murray with confidence, even though the Packers are very good against the run. But we saw what Zeke Elliott did against them weeks back, like week 5, 6. He ran all over them.
Right.
Murray, I'm not concerned about. Playing him with confidence. Mariota, I think, is a solid streamer this week.
Yep. Can you do me a favor? I think that I want to know what this point is. Can you check Murray's last 3 games?
Sure.
I don't know if it's... I know last week, he had the punch in. Carries were down a little bit. Yards were down a little bit.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to see if there's a pattern with him now on underwhelming games, and no, there is not.
There's not.
Oh my God, he's been nothing but elite.
He's been
over 20
in half-point PPR. He's been over 15 points in every week but 1.
Right, and before last week, he had 5 straight games of 20-plus carries, 21-plus carries, and he's had a touchdown in the last 4 games.
He's scoring a touchdown more often than not.
Okay.
He is locked in as an elite.
And now your jinx Derrick Henry is out.
Jinx Derrick Henry is out. He will not be receiving any carries this week, most likely. Murray is a lock to get probably 90% of the touches out of the backfield, if not more.
Well said. I would say the only revelation really on this side, on the Titans side, is Murray's locked in. Mariota's a nice streamer. He's picked it up.
Yeah.
Delaney Walker is picking it up. I think he's got touchdowns in back-to-back weeks while fighting through some injuries.
He's getting healthier.
Yes, so once he gets healthier, he's nice because the Titans have been so good in the red zone.
Matthews,
and that's the last
is the story here.
That's the last name. Why?
There's been a lot of talk about we bashed him.
Hard.
I know I did.
Because I was pissed. It was a guy who was so high on, and then I had to drop him right away, and it's someone I'd like to have back.
Last week, 6 catches for 63 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Oh, man.
So he has 5 touchdowns in the last 5 games played.
Wow.
The yardage output still not great.
Right.
His yards per catch not that great. The periphery numbers don't look good, although he did have 10 targets last week.
Right.
It's tough to really back him, but the numbers...
It's not someone I want as a 1, but he's officially flex sexy now.
Yeah, you can flex him.
You
can flex him.
I think the touchdown should continue to pour in.
And the idea here might be that Packers take a lead and Titans have to throw a bit more, but we'll see.
Right.
Tennessee is going to do their best to run the hell out of the ball and limit the time of possession for Green Bay.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see. I'm not starting with confidence, but I'm not against you flexing him.
Okay.
If you have to,
Yeah. We are. Time is of the essence right here. We've got about what we'd like to say. Get you for 12 more minutes. How many games do we have to go? I'd like to get in my picks, most importantly.
Okay.
And you know what? Why don't we do
We'll
this?
have to rapid fire the picks.
Why don't we do that? Why don't I give you my rest of season MVPs?
Give it to me. Okay.
And we'll rest season MVP, and obviously throw some color on some of those games for these guys. On maybe some of the guys that you think could score or not score.
All right.
We'll pose it at that.
Fair enough.
Keep that fantasy outlook in there for you guys, but also understand that you guys get some work done today. Might still be reeling from the election, so we get it. Okay, my second half MVPs, and just again highlight for this crowd who you picked last week and kind of how you feel about them, what they did last week, yada yada yada.
My MVPs last week, my quarterback was Phil Rivers. I think he had
right? Another solid performance from
his
him.
schedule the rest of the way looks good. I think the arrow's definitely trending up for him.
Right.
He's been good all year. I think he's been the quarterback 12, I think I said last week. But his arrow's pointing up. My running back was Jay Stu. Kind of let you down last week, but that's his toughest matchup left. Arrow pointing up on him.
Right.
My receiver,
that's what she said.
Alshon Jeffrey.
Right.
Matchups look good. He's got his boy Jay Cuddy throwing the ball. So I like
we'll have
him.
to see how that turns out for you this week. He was on bye last week, right? So we'll see.
I like him locked in as a 1.
Gotcha.
And then my 2 honorable mentions were Tyrell Williams, tied in with Phil Rivers, same reasons. I like him. He's been fantastic. Travis Benjamin dealing with PCL strain, Tyrell ascending. And then my last guy was the jinx of the year, Derrick Henry, goes down with a calf strain. I liked him.
Yeah, further solidifying Mr. Murray there, but I like the attempt. I mean, he's just such a physically big effing dude. It seemed like it was meant to happen.
It was meant to happen. Murray hadn't been healthy. I still think Henry could have some value when he comes back.
That's fine.
I feel like Murray is...
So you can stay on? All right, stay on.
We'll see how it plays out another week.
Okay.
Let's get to yours. Give me yours.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, I try not to be biased, but I mean, come on. I fall in love with these guys. Starting with my quarterback, who I actually don't own, so this is truly unbiased. I really think that Kirkland Cousins finishes the year strong. I think you saw what you saw against the Bengals in London is a foreshadow for what this guy could be doing later in the year. I think he has all his weapons back officially. Garcon is playing well. Jamison Crowder is literally a wide receiver 1 at the moment. Jordan Reed is healthy. Deshaun Jackson's coming around healthy. I mean, he just has so many weapons at his disposal. And I think
a lot of weapons on
you were showing
offense.
him some love, right? Again, you probably think they smack around the Giants. I hear you on that. For that reason, I like Kirkland Cousins as my quarterback MVP the rest of the season. Running back, it's no surprise. Jay Ajayi, I was hesitant when I made the trade. Do I really believe in this guy? Holy smokes, do we ever. He takes the Jets, and hi, honey bun. We're live right now. He takes the Jets.
Scary.
Yeah, a little frightening. He takes the Jets, who are supposed to be this big, scary defense. The first drive, he goes down like hell. Yeah. He's getting tackled 6 yards in the backfield. They're blowing up the line of scrimmage. But then what happened? Chunk games. The zone offense is working, and Adam Gase is showering him with praise. Rest of the season schedule, we thought was ugly. It's actually ranked the 3rd friendliest.
Wow.
So there's a little factotum that you can take back with you.
A little switcheroo.
J.J. is still someone to target, someone who I believe is undervalued just based on the name value. Second half MVP for me.
Okay.
Wide receiver, I'm going with Dante Moncrief. We've always liked him. You and I have a lot of shares of him. What I saw last week was extremely encouraging, which is they're at the goal line, first throw, boom, right to him. Well, yes, he's touchdown dependent. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
But and then he had that nice catch along the sideline for 30 yards. He can stretch the field. I think the Colts start to improve as the year goes on, and I really think they need him, and they miss him. Okay. And I like him for another 5 touchdowns this year, which gets you in the playoffs.
5 touchdowns, wow.
My honorable mentions are Allen Robinson.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Based on volume.
Okay.
And now I don't feel as scared about Minnesota and some of these matchups that he's dealing with. I'm going to stick with Allen as someone to believe in and lead your decimated wide receiver core. Honorable mention also goes to Latavius Murray. Why? 8 touchdowns in his last 7 games. And has been a top 5 running back over the past 3 weeks. He's catching the ball. Even this is still why he's splitting the load a little bit with Jalen Richard and DeAndre Washington. God, how good did he look?
No, he looked great.
How good did he look?
In the line, you gotta love.
Yeah.
You gotta love.
The 5 of them are the most impressive.
6 of them.
The 6 of them. The other guy comes on, they play. It's absurd. I mean, Kamichio's a wallet. I love hearing Chris Collinsworth just gush over this guy. He's a real deal for me.
Okay.
Real deal.
I like that.
So I like Latavius to kind of finish out the season. They're going to have to rely on him more because, as you said, Eric, some of those passing matchups are not as favorable.
Right.
I think Murray becomes the beneficiary of that.
Shoulders the load in the winter.
That's right. And my honorable mention quarterback, I'm going to go back to the well and Marcus Mariota. And the reason really is they've been so good in the red zone. He's playing lights out when he gets there. And because he does that and gets the running yards and takes himself in, he's just useful. He's useful. I don't even know what his schedule looks like, but someone I get excited about who's not necessarily a Matt Ryan or someone like that.
Top 10 for you rest of the way, definitely, right?
Yes.
Mariota and Kirk. All right.
Yes.
So
cue that music. We are heading into the final stages. We are heading into the hurry-up offense.
Okay.
First matchup. Have to go all the way back to page 1.
Cleveland at Baltimore.
Baltimore at home.
Baltimore's home, 10-point favorite.
Oh, my God.
Who are you taking?
I'm taking Cleveland.
Oh, man.
They have burned me a lot.
They burn us every week.
Eric, what the heck? 10 points?
I know. We said the same thing last week, which is why I'm
because the Cowboys are actually an amazing team.
Which is why I'm backing the Ravens here. Short week for Cleveland, traveling to rival Baltimore. Cleveland got beat up last week on the ground. They're not motivated.
Ravens feeling good after a nice win over the Steelers?
Ravens beat them up. Beat them by 2 scores.
It's too much for me. I'm taking the Browns.
Beat them by 2.
Kansas City, Carolina. Carolina favored by 3 as they start to heat up. What do you got?
Carolina coming on strong. They're going to show us something in the second half. I think they have success running the ball. I think Benjamin could find his way to a score.
Hey, would love that.
Might be a lower scoring game, but I don't think KC has the firepower to take advantage of Carolina's secondary woes. For me, it's Carolina by the field goal. Sure.
Well, they got to beat the field goal.
4 points.
4 points.
Whatever. I'm taking Carolina.
I'm taking Carolina as well. I completely agree. Firepower's down. They're not in Arrowhead. No reason to believe that the Panthers can't control this game. Denver, New Orleans. Favored by a point and a half in the Dome.
This one is tricky.
It really is.
I was surprised to see New Orleans as a favorite. Maybe a pick'em was more likely scenario for me at least.
I'm gonna have to sleep on this one.
This one's tough. I'm gonna back. I think I'm gonna go New Orleans.
I was leaning toward gun in my head. I was gonna go New Orleans.
Go New Orleans at home, where they are seemingly unstoppable.
Right.
Denver's slipping a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Lately.
Running game not as strong. Simeon kind of blowing it lately.
New Orleans can run the ball,
right?
As
Defense
they've shown against the weaker teams. Denver, I don't know if Simeon can keep them in the game. We'll see.
Not good.
We'll see.
Should have brought the Sanchez back.
So I'll go New Orleans, as will you.
Agree there. Yep, I love that. Los Angeles in MetLife. Jets are favored by 2.
This is a disgusting game. You shouldn't even be allowed to bet on this game. It's so disgusting. But Jets have been better at home. LA is crap too. They're traveling east. I'll back my Jets here.
I'm going to back it too.
Because this is a game where, as a fan, like, all right, I want to lose out.
Yeah.
Let's just lose out and get a nice pick. Get me that nice pick. Get a hot quarterback.
Right.
But they're not going to give me that because they hate me and they hate all of the fans.
Right.
So they're going to win this game. And that's what they did.
23-20 for me. Jets take it home. And
on their way to make
the playoffs there. Yep.
Yeah.
Green Bay at Tennessee. Green Bay is favored by 2.5. Coming off an embarrassing loss to the Colts.
Green Bay bounces back here for me on the road against Tennessee.
Agreed.
They throw the ball all over the yard. I don't think Tennessee has the firepower to stay with them. I like Tennessee. I think they're a good team. But I think Green Bay comes out guns blazing here, pissed off after they just lost at home to the Colts. And they just smoke them.
I like a fired up A-Rod.
Just roll them up and smoke them.
Right. Yeah, no, I love that. Smoke them hot, smoke them good. Jordy Nelson into the end zone for me.
Yeah.
As does Cobb. And Rodgers punches one in for himself. Another top 5 fantasy day for him. Though I think Mariota stays hot. 2 touchdowns himself.
Catch up.
One to Richard and one to Delaney. Yes, exactly. Atlanta at the Eagles. It's a pick'em.
This one's bizarre, no?
Is this a trap game? What are they saying
Something,
to me?
Because you immediately say Falcons should be favorites, right? I mean, they're one of the top dogs in the NFC, which is why I can't get off them in this game. But I'm going Falcons right away here.
Yeah.
Are we buying the Eagles' defense to shut down the Falcons' offense?
I don't think so. I think the Giants made a statement. I don't see why Matt Ryan can't repeat the same success. Falcons for me. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to star pick this. Which I don't know that I would do, but I still want to take the Falcons there. Minnesota at Washington. Washington is favored by 3. Holy smokes, what a turn of the tide.
Washington, hot.
Very hot.
Very hot. Coming back from off their bye.
Right.
They played in London the week prior. They've rested up.
Right.
They have a new head honcho in the backfield, and Robert Kelly.
Right.
Ready to run wild all over the purple bed. I like the Vikings, actually, to keep it close enough. They can limit. I still believe in the defense. I like Washington a lot.
I know you do.
But I believe in the Vikings defense. I think they come back, but they bounce back a little bit here. They keep it close. Washington could still win. They could eke it out. They've played in some close games all year.
It's a big spread.
But I'll take the 3 points. Minnesota on the road. They tweaked the offense last week. I feel good.
I'm going to go with Wash, and I'm going to go with Wash simply because now the Vikings are trying to run 3 backs instead of 2, bringing in Ronnie freaking Hillman.
Yeah.
Making every single Vikings back utterly useless.
Yeah.
I think the Washington defense will have no problem shutting down Sam Bradford. Okay. Stephon Diggs has a nice little useful game once again. Everyone outside of that disappoints, and I'm taking the Redskins to stay hot.
All right.
I think they're coming out with a thunderous fury. I like them by a touchdown. Houston versus Jacksonville. Texans are favored, even though they're in Jaguars.
This one I do not feel good about for the Texans. They've been horrible on the road all year. Jacksonville came out last week.
Right.
Kept it close with KC.
They
kept
did.
It respectable.
They did.
Houston, I'm just not afraid of.
I'm not either.
On the road, Brock Osweiler.
Yeah.
Lamar Miller hasn't been explosive all year.
Yeah.
I'm just not worried. I think Jacksonville, they play much better at home. I'll go with them as the home dog.
I'm going to go with Jacksonville as well. I just will note I'm not as sour on Allen as everyone else is in this matchup. You keep talking, Texans corner, blah, blah, blah. No, I still think he gets in the end zone once again.
He's a lock for double-digit targets every week at this point.
I think he gets it done fantasy-wise.
All right.
And I'm taking the Jags. I like that call. Chicago versus Tampa. It's a
no line on this game right now.
Oh, wow.
It's bizarre. I don't know why. So let's assume it's a pick'em. How about that?
Yeah, okay. And I guess let's assume it's a pick'em. I'm going to take the... Oh, God. I want to say the Bears because they've been quietly very hot.
Quietly very good on defense.
Defense.
Yes.
Is really coming on. They're getting guys back healthy. Yeah. What's his face is some defensive coordinators doing really well. One of those guys doing really well.
I'm with Chicago. I like Jordan Howard to have a nice game for them.
Right.
He has hopefully solidified himself as the top dog in that backfield, and John Fox doesn't want to screw with any of that.
Sure.
He was fantastic last week, and
That's
when they commit to Howard, he's great. He's great.
I agree.
When they try to, we're gonna mix in Kadeem Carey, get out of here with that guy.
I think he earned it. I think he earned
Go with
that
Howard. Go with Howard, man. They go with Howard. They win. My guy Alshon Jeffrey has his best game of the year here. I look for over 100 yards, and definitely a score, if not 2.
Okay. That's fine. I would say Mike Evans gets in the end zone again.
Definitely. That's kind of
100%.
Yeah.
And just a note for you guys, Doug Martin may play. Status undecided, but he did get on the practice field fairly early in the week, which is always a good sign. Not like he got there on Friday. I don't even think he practiced Friday, but something to look out for. Doug Martin could potentially plug him in. If he plays, I am playing him because, again, your running back core is probably decimated at this point. So, Miami, San Diego. Oh my God, both of these teams are getting hot, dude. They really are.
Yeah, I've liked San Diego all year.
Chargers are favored by 3.5, though.
3.5 at home. Miami traveling west. It's going to come down to who's running the ball better. But Melvin Gordon has flipped the bird to his efficiency critics the last 2 weeks. I think he's compiled about 400 combined yards, passing and receiving and rushing.
Right.
He's been fantastic. On the other side, Jay Ajayi's been fantastic. Maybe the 2 hottest running backs in football going head-to-head here.
If there was a prop bet for me, I would say it's that both of them definitely get in the end zone.
Definitely get into the end zone.
At least once.
I think both teams want to run the ball here. I will take Miami to keep it within a field goal. Not saying they'll win.
Right.
But I think it's a close game here.
I like that call, and I will go with the same thing. I like the Chargers as a streamer. I mean, maybe I just have them, and I'm lazy to pick one up. I say that because Tannehill's still prone to the fumbleitis, if you will.
But Miami's really become a run-first offense here.
They have.
Limiting the value of Jarvis Landry and rendering Devontae Parker completely useless.
Parker is a full-on drop. Not only is he a drop, I think you can just remove him from the player pool.
He's done. It's a wrap.
We still have to have Sean back on to defend that. I don't think
Landry you really got to worry about. No?
I'm very concerned. As an owner, I'm very concerned.
They just don't throw the ball.
They do not throw the ball. It's a Jay Ajayi team.
Yeah.
We live in his world.
Yep.
But I like that call. Dolphins, I'm taking there. 49ers at the Cardinals. The spread is 13 points.
That's a lot.
And guess
of
what?
points.
I'm taking it.
You taking the 13?
I tried to get Q when they played the Panthers.
Yeah.
Eric Waldman, David Johnson, over under for fantasy points for me
30?
would be 50. 50.
Yeah. The Niners just can't stop anybody on the ground.
Navarro Bowman gone, and it's like this
I think
team.
me and you could combine for 200 yards and a couple scores against them.
And I'm not even kidding. I really
think we could.
I legitimately think I could rack up.
Give me a week on the treadmill to get my endurance back up, and I'm in there.
I'm dropping some shoulders. Aaron Lynch,
spin move into the end zone. X button. Yes, we're good.
Pathetic.
13 points is a lot, man. But Arizona's at home. I think they're going to surge second half. I'm with you.
I'm with you. Totally see a 35-10 out.
Red Sox.
Same thing.
Arizona, this is a statement game.
Yeah.
Statement game. They're saying, we're back. You forgot about us.
Yep.
We were the class of the NFC last year. Even though we made the Super Bowl, we were the best team in the NFC last year. I think they come out here right now.
Like that.
And they shut them down.
Agree there. Dallas, Pittsburgh. This is a tough game. Is this a trap game for the Cowboys?
Well, I don't know if it's a trap game. I think it's going to be a tough game for them to win.
The Steelers are favored.
Steelers are favored, yeah.
Oh, I'm taking the boys.
You taking the boys?
I'm taking the boys.
Without a doubt. This, for me, depends on the health of Roethlisberger. Last week, he was clearly not 100%. Combine that with being on the road, where he's just not that great.
Right.
This is a tough one to call. Ooh. Dallas has been great all year. I don't see any reason to not back. They've been the best team in the NFC. No,
I'm taking Dallas.
I don't see any reason to not take them as
especially
a road dog
after the embarrassing effort from Pittsburgh last week. They always have these games. They come out. They don't know what the heck they're doing. They look like they're half asleep. Yeah. Maybe you say they bounce back.
They're a different. Ben's hurt. Story at home.
Ben's hurt.
We'll see. But yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay.
All right.
We'll go Dallas.
Take the Cowboys. Fun little fact. Le'Veon Bell is another touchdown.
Yikes.
Pathetic. Sunday night game, Seattle versus New England. Holy smokes. New England favored by 7.
7.
That's a lot.
In New England. That's a lot to give up, but New England coming off the bye, Belichick.
Oh, that's a lot, Eric.
He's a Trump guy. It's going to be huge. So, I'm going to back New England here with the 7 points. Seattle, even though they played Buffalo well, I'm not buying it. Belichick takes away whatever Seattle has on offense. He'll probably take away Jimmy Graham.
Really? Okay.
You know, they'll probably force them to run the ball, which they've been terrible at running for the past 6 weeks. Kristen Michael, arrow way down. Thomas Rawls is coming back. I'm not even that excited about him.
Okay.
The line's terrible still. Russell Wilson looks a little more mobile. I think you could play him in catch-up mode. He throws the ball around a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'll still back New England here to cover the 7.
Fine.
You're praying if you're back in Seattle, you're praying the defense keeps them in the game. That's it.
Correct.
But did they look that great against Buffalo at home?
No.
Buffalo.
They got destroyed by Robert Woods.
Yeah.
LaShawn McCoy had a nice game. Seattle's given up touchdowns to running backs in 3 straight games. I agree. No, that's tough. I'm going to have to sit on that one, but I see the argument, and I will most likely do that.
Okay.
Final game of the week.
Is this Monday night?
Bengals, New York Giants. Giants are favored by 2.5.
This is a nice primetime game.
I'm taking the Giants.
Taking the Giants at 2.5?
Taking the Giants.
I think
this team is getting hot.
I'll go against you there. I like Cincy. I like Jeremy Hill.
I know you do.
To run the ball a bit here. I like AJ Green to go off. I like Tyler Eifert a lot. Coming back, giving them a true number 2 target in the offense. I'll take Cincy as the road dog here.
Okay. No, I'm going to stick with them. I'm going to stick with them. G-Men
Giants
for me.
Giants were good for me last week. They came out.
Yeah, they were. That was huge.
They took care of that 3-point
covered that
spread
perfectly
against Philly.
That's right. Okay, folks, that wraps up another one. We've been busy, but we'd love to get back on the Facebook Live thing again. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. We'll try.
If we can try and do that. Other than that, we have a Friendsgiving this weekend. We'll try and enjoy that.
Yeah.
Turkey Bowl's coming up.
We're doing Cirque du Soleil on Sunday.
Doing Circus. Wow. We're doing that's we can't even.
We could still get a little live in from Cirque du Soleil.
Might have to go live from Cirque du Soleil. Answer a couple of your hard-hitting questions.
Yeah.
That's going to be a Cirque du Soleil where I'm just checking my phone the entire time. So
could be.
Maybe I might have to hold it like this so I can still watch what they're doing. But yeah,
that's it for us. Hopefully join us next week. Tweet us, email us.
Yeah, I would love.
Send us a postcard.
I would. Postcard would be even better.
A handwritten letter. I always appreciate those. Whatever you got for us, let us know. 3 and out.
We out.
See ya.